Germany's cabinet has approved a draft bill to partially legalise the use of cannabis. It's the first step in a two-part plan and will need to be approved by Parliament. It would allow individuals to possess up to 25 grams of cannabis for recreational use and to grow up to 3 plants at home. People will also be able to join cannabis clubs to exchange marijuana. German Health Minister Karl Lauterbach said previous drug policies had failed as marijuana use was growing and black market products were becoming more dangerous.
It's a turnaround in our drug policy. We're decriminalising cannabis, but we're doing it in a controlled way, where private cultivation is allowed, where personal consumption is allowed, where the possession of 25 grams of cannabis is exempt from punishment.
Our political correspondent Benjamin Alvarez-Gruber has more. Welcome, Ben. Talk us through the main points of this draft bill.
So you mentioned the 25 grams of cannabis. It can be a maximum of 50 grams per month. And there will be the so-called cannabis clubs where people can meet, non-profit clubs, and then also exchange and grow these plants together. Will be a maximum of 3 plants that everyone can have in their homes for recreational use. And that's something that the German Health Minister Karl Lauterbach stressed. This is not a complete giving everyone the possibility to buy. There will also be strict rules, and what's important, and what he's also saying and stressing, is that there will be a focus also on preventing minors of getting these drugs. So these are the 3 rules: that people will be able to have 3 plants, that they can have maximum 25 grams per day or 50 grams per month, and there will be the so-called cannabis clubs.
And why are they doing this? What sort of benefits is Germany expecting to get from it?
There are many reasons for that, many reasons for the government to push for this. These are 2 plans. Today he presented the first stage of the plan that passed the German cabinet earlier today. What they said is that they want to push back the black market and also want to reduce the number of things that police officers and agencies have to do when it comes to people that have been getting this cannabis drugs and have been also sent by police officers or have been caught. So they want to reduce that as well, and they want to make it easier for people also to get the information about the drug, to also tell them that it's still dangerous if they confuse it and consume it in a big amount. But at the same time also starting the strategy to prevent minors from accessing these drugs. But those are the 2 main points. So on one way, reducing the cost and how difficult it is, reducing costs also of prisons, of agencies, when it comes to drug-related crimes as well.
Right, and it has had its share of controversy. Talk us through what the critics have been saying.
That's right. There has been criticism not only from the opposition, there's also the police unions saying that they don't know if they need more capacities to track these cases. The pro-business FDP party, that's one of the 3 parties that's part of the government, has also criticized it, saying that they need more concrete ideas on what this will actually mean. Some are accusing the health ministry and also the German government in total of minimizing the effects that this might have. So we expect this to go further. This will also go through the Bundestag, through the parliament. The government expects this to be passed by the end of the year.
Thanks for that, Benjamin Alvarez-Gruber.
And I'm joined now by Nicholas Kuparanis. He's the co-founder of a company that sells cannabis here in Germany. Welcome to DW. You are in the cannabis industry yourself, so you must be happy about this new bill.
First of all, it's a pleasure being here. Thank you very much for having me. We are happy, especially for the reclassification of medical cannabis. That is something what was needed in the past and is done now by the first pillar. And also the decriminalization has its upsides. For example, Germany is spending 1 billion euros for law enforcement for the pursuit of offenses for cannabis. 85% of these offenses are only minor causes. So, for example, consumption. So we can also save money in the law enforcement system in Germany. So quite happy right now, yeah.
OK, and the German health minister, of course, is saying this bill will help to fight the sale of products on the black market. I mean, do you think that this will work practically?
Like I've said, it's a first step, right? The full-scale legalization didn't happen. That is something what the government promised by the end of 2021. That will not happen, obviously, because of international law, because of EU law. that is something what takes time and also takes companionship within the EU for member states to join our forces and then basically have a change on the EU level. What Mr. Lauterbach is doing now, what the government is doing now, is a first step, and that is necessary, that first step. It is decriminalization, it is cannabis clubs, it is home grow, it is also the possession of 25 grams, and it is also reclassification of medical cannabis, which is great for patients, great for doctors, great for pharmacies. Second pillar, we don't know when that will happen. We don't have a law till now, probably in 2024. Is the scientific pilot projects in Germany regionally. That is full-scale legalization under the recreational umbrella, the full value chain legalization. That is the second pillar.
Okay. You say all of this is necessary. The draft bill has, of course, faced a whole lot of criticism. The Professional Association of Pediatricians in Germany is condemning the plans. They say it will encourage cannabis consumption among young people. What's your response to a criticism like that?
I strongly disagree. That is the most important step Germany could take right now. A illicit market is not something what we want to have. There's no control in terms of quality. There's no control in terms of youth protection. That is something what is outdated. And we had prohibition for 60 years now. Nothing has changed. So what we are doing right now is choosing a different approach in Germany to have a controlled market, to have controlled quality, and to also secure our youth from using cannabis. And that is absolutely necessary. So I don't understand these statements because they don't make sense to me if prohibition for 60 years has failed.
Nicholas Couperanus, thank you so much for your time and for your point of view.
Thank you very much.
And we can get more reaction to this new proposed law now from a member of the German Parliament, Christine Lüttke. She's the spokesperson for addiction and drug policy for the business-friendly FDP party, which is part of the current German government. Welcome to DW, Ms. Lüttke. Before we talk about the pros and cons of this draft law, can you help our audience understand it better? Tell us what this law actually looks like.
Mm-hmm. Yes, first of all, greetings from Germany. The current draft of the cannabis bill, finds solutions for the home growing of cannabis plants. Each adult can grow up to 3 plants in the home, on the balcony or in the garden, and there will be also the possibility to grow cannabis together with others in the so-called cannabis clubs. And there will be a decriminalization of cannabis up to 25 grams one can carry around in public, and in private there's a maximum of 50 grams of cannabis for adults from the age of 21. And for adults aged 18 to 21, there is suggested that there will be, first of all, THC restrictions of 10%, and also a smaller amount of cannabis, which would be allowed to carry around and to possess.
Okay, so we're talking about legalization, but control. You're in favour of legalising cannabis, but you have been very critical of this draft law. Can you tell us why?
Yes, I am in favor of the legalization, but I'm also kind of critical because the draft we have read this morning, it contains and continues the prohibition policy in a way. There is still some steps to go to meet the agreements we made in the coalition treaty, and we agreed on ending prohibition once and for all, and to focus more on prevention, education, and harm reduction in cannabis policy. And now we have a lot of small-scale regulations that are intended to provide more protection of the youth, the health, and the consumers, but they are very bureaucratic and hard to control, and would push also the overburdened judiciary to its limits. So we have to find regulations that work out and that are practical. So yeah, we find a good way to...
You're saying there's too many regulations, but for example, the German health minister says that some restrictions are needed, for example, to protect young people. I mean, for example, the proposed law says that cannabis clubs can't be built close to schools or nursery schools. And you've also criticised that. I mean, why would a seemingly sensible regulation like that be a problem?
Because in my point of view, it's not a very sensible regulation, because a high minimum distance from cannabis clubs to schools or daycare centers makes it very, very difficult to set up those clubs, especially in large cities. And that drives the consumers again to the illegal market, to the black market, so that they have to get their cannabis at the black market and still have the bad consequences for health, given all the bad stuff that is on or in the cannabis product that you can buy on the black market.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Christine Lüdtke, member of the German Parliament and addiction and drug policy spokesman for the FDP party. Thanks so much for giving us your side of the argument.
Yes. You're welcome.